Hey, good morning, gang. Lauren here, Gratitude Addict. It is Friday morning. It's around 7:42 a.m. my time here in New Jersey, and I am sitting here with my morning coffee. My kitty cat, where's Rory the Wonder Cat? There she is. She's on the windowsill, and I've been watching some gardening YouTube videos, and I'm about to head out to my garden before I get in the shower. I've got a full day today, and trying to just stay in the moment because I have so much on my plate today and it can get overwhelming. At least, the old me would have gotten overwhelmed, and I'm just going to take it moment by moment. If things need to be canceled because of my pain, I will cancel them without any guilt. But I don't think that's going to happen. I've felt pretty good lately, and as long as I stay in the moment and not obsess about what I still have to do, I'll be all right. So I'm just going to sit here with my morning coffee, and you know what? Let's head out to the garden. Before we head out to the garden, I wanted to show you these beautiful sunflowers that I picked on my mental health day on the farm. Actually, my friend Nicole picked them for me, and this is from my friend's farm that I was watching for her while she was away on vacation this week. She asked me to pick, if you didn't watch the video, she asked me to pick some of her veggies, particularly the green beans, because if you don't pick green beans, they go to seed and the plants end. So she asked if I was interested. I could pick green beans, and of course I was interested. I picked green beans and kale. Hang on. That's better. I picked green beans and kale and raspberries and what else? Zucchini, and we got a couple sunflowers. So they're brightening up my kitchen, and things like this brighten up my day. So, things like flowers, artwork, things, you can put things around your house that help boost your mood, and these sunflowers sure do. They're just gorgeous. I don't know that I've ever had cut sunflowers in my house. I'm just starting to appreciate them after being at my friend's house and seeing how spectacular they are. I didn't know sunflowers actually, I always thought they had one big stem and that they had, the flower on top, and that was it. I didn't realize that there were kinds that had, flowers shooting off to the side. They were just spectacular. So these were some of the side shoots that I was just mentioning. They're just beautiful. They really, and with my bananas and lemons. What is that? Oh, it's apples. I forgot I got apples. They really are just, every time I'm in the kitchen, it just makes me smile and happy. We can add things like this to our life, things that make us smile, and it doesn't really take much to do it. But being in pain, we can, get caught up in it. So adding little things to make our life a little happier is great. All right, got my coffee. I put a sweater on. It's not cold. I only have the sweater on because I am not dressed yet. And, I'm not dressed yet. So I don't need, you guys, you don't need to see me not dressed yet. I'll just put it that way. I mean, I have some clothes on, but you know what I mean, ladies. So I'm out here with my cup of coffee in my beautiful, this time of year, I love gardening. As you probably have seen from my other videos, I love gardening. And because I've been feeling relatively good this season, I planted a lot. I planted a lot. Normally it's just tomatoes. I've been growing tomatoes, my husband and I. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Come on, man. If you guys caught my video on acceptance, you would have seen me have to bleep out a swear word because the stabilizer thing I'm using keeps flipping around on me. So it just did that same thing, but thankfully I was able to control my swearing. I didn't swear. So anyway, so I've been feeling relatively good. So my addictive personality, and if you have watched other videos, you will, again, I do not know what's going on with this thing this morning, but Yeah, so you will know that I am a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for 9 years. So, but that doesn't mean that I don't still have an addictive personality. I do have to keep it in check. But, you know, I've been enjoying growing our own food. We are growing potatoes. Let me see if I can show you the potatoes. Down here, all of these in the grow bags, those are all potatoes. I did harvest some. I planted the first batch in April, the end of April. Come on, man, let's get this going. There we go. That's all we have to do. This is an interesting video, huh? The end of April, and they're just starting to die back. Let me show you the ones that are dying back. Right. Yeah, down there you'll see they are dying back, and it's a little, everybody's got a different opinion as to when to harvest potatoes. You can harvest them now, though they may be small, or I should say you can harvest them when they are like that. They were tasty, they were a bit small, and that's not saying that you can't harvest them. They're what they call new potatoes. So I want the rest of them to be a bit bigger. I want to have potatoes to get us through the winter if possible. I don't know if that's going to happen. Come on, let's do this. This thing is acting up this morning. There we go. Silly. So, all right, let's take it. Oh, and I'm starting seeds right here. Let's see. It keeps wanting to get to me. You know, I'm just gonna hold this by hand. I think that'll be better. Hang on. All right, now I am not using a fancy gizmo. I am using my arm, so maybe a bit easier for me to control. What was I saying? Oh, here, I'm starting seeds for our fall garden, which I've never done before. You know, I've always grown tomatoes. I've got some lettuces going here. Some over here, we've got some cauliflower. I'm spilling my coffee. I'll get used to this video thing at some point. I'm so used to my live broadcast on Thursday nights. By the way, I hope you caught my live broadcast last night. I had Toni Powell, who is an author, storyteller, speaker. We were talking, our topic was reducing worry through gratitude, and she was fabulous. She was so much fun. And if you didn't catch the episode, you can still catch it. All of my episodes are available on my YouTube channel all the time. This was, I think, episode 93 or 94. And each week we focus on different topics pertaining to living our best lives with gratitude and purpose, despite having issues such as chronic pain and illness. So if you didn't catch it, I encourage you to. But I am used to doing live broadcasts. So these vlogs are a new thing for me. And I thought this stabilizer, what do you call it? It's like a, let me show you what it looks like. It's a selfie stick, but it's supposed to be like a nice one where, here it is, where it helps reduce like shakiness and stuff, but it keeps flipping around on me. And you can film like this, but I don't like the way that looks on YouTube. It looks strange to me, so I like to do this in what is it, landscape mode. So over here, let's see, I've got, this is like a, I didn't intend to do a garden tour, I was just going to say good morning, but so this is something called Castelfranco radicchio, and that's going to be big heads of like purple and white speckled radicchio, which is like a lettuce. Over here, this is called a green stalk, and we just got this a couple months ago. It's so cool. And if you live with chronic pain and illness and want a garden, or if you don't have a lot of space, this thing is just awesome. So it is this nasturtium. This is a nasturtium. It's taken up the whole thing. So there's all these pockets. They're levels, and you put soil in them, and you can plant different things in all of them. So I've got some lettuces going here. I'm a bit late to the party with lettuces. Like, they should be much bigger now because I didn't get to planting them until late, because we didn't get this until, when did we plant this? Beginning of June. These are all, for the most part, from the beginning of June. So we've got carrots. We've got a layer of carrots. We've got, over here, this is lettuce leaf basil. Can I show this? Right here. There we go. That is lettuce leaf basil. It's going to be big like lettuce leaves, but it's basil. So cool. I've got miniature tomatoes here. Oh, you've got to see my miniature tomatoes. These guys are called orange hat tomatoes. They're not going to get much bigger. I've got more over here too. They are, apparently they max out at like 6 inches tall. So they're good for indoor gardening if you have a sunny spot. But I notice we've got the little tomatoes going on here. Aren't they so adorable? They're going to be orange. And apparently taste very good. I got those seeds from Baker Creek, which is where I get a lot of my seeds. So over here we've got, this is a bed, a raised bed of 5 silver beet, 5-color Swiss chard. And we've got a rogue basil plant here. Got more basil. This is all basil in this cart, but it's kind of run its course. There, right there. Kind of run its course. A lot of it's going to flower. So what I've done, and I haven't read that you should do this anywhere, but I did it anyway. I took the ones that have gone to flower, I went and planted in my tomato garden next to the tomatoes, because once basil flowers, they're great pollinators for the bees, and you want to encourage the bees to go to the tomatoes. And I know they often say you should plant basil with tomatoes, and I haven't. But yeah, I thought I would try that instead of, discarding the basil plant that went to flower. I thought I would try them there. So over here, these are plants. You can see all the tomatoes here. These are a container variety. We originally got them a couple years ago. They're called Little Napoli, and they're great in these 5-gallon containers. As you can see, they are a very early variety of, they're technically a Roma tomato, which means a paste tomato. But I had saved seeds, and because it was a hybrid variety to begin with, you're not going to get exactly what you bought when you originally got it. But you know what? We like this better, because normally they're just small Roma tomatoes. We're getting these big, big-ish, like saladette size, they call it, round ones, and they are more prolific than ever. The plants, this one's a bit out of control. They're a bit bigger, but I love them. Well, we love them because for a couple reasons. One is they're super tasty. 2 is that they're always our earliest variety. So when we're trying desperately to get tomatoes to ripen in our regular garden. And most of them are just not quite ready yet this time of year. We're starting to get some that are turning. We had our first the other day, a Berkeley pink tie-dye, which is my favorite. These Little Napolis they always, help us to eat tomatoes while we're salivating and waiting for the others. So because this is a hybrid variety, and we've now dehybridized it, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the technical term, but because we're saving seeds and replanting them, it's not technically a Little Napoli anymore. So we have named it Little Crappily. But I think we need another name because it implies that it's crap, and it is not. They are delicious. We've been eating them for, we picked our first one July 4th, which was exciting. So these are really, really great. And again, they're a nice early variety. So let's go down here. It's a beautiful morning here. This is our property. We have about 1.5 acres, and we love it here. We have been here for, we moved here in 1994. We were married in 93, and we moved here in 1994, raised our kids here. This is in rural New Jersey. This is funny. We don't have a dog. We had a dog, Petey, he passed away. He passed away 9 years ago, sadly, right before I got sober. He was a really, really good dog to me when I was so sick and isolating, and he never left my side. Animals are just like that. But we've never got rid of the doghouse. Rob built that doghouse, and for a while we were keeping it because he thought it was a good security system for people to think we had a dog. And now, I forget why he said we're keeping it now. It's awfully heavy. It actually has 2 rooms. My husband is very handy, so he does nothing halfway. And it actually has 2 rooms. Petey would go in the side door, and it was split in half inside, so he could go in the back and stay cool and stuff. So that is our doghouse. I'm sure I would love to use it as a she shed. It's a bit short. So this is our in-ground tomato garden. We technically have 21 in-ground spots. We've been planting here for, gosh, since we moved in. So what is that? It's 28 years or so. Just about every year. There's been a few years in there, I think, where either I was just too sick to do it, or perhaps when the kids were really little, but just about every year we've planted tomatoes here. And so we have, because Lauren has gotten a bit out of control, we are doing a lot in these grow bags this year, which I don't know how I didn't know these grow bags existed until this year, but I didn't. So we're doing a lot, and this is in front of our deck. Gosh, I think I counted the other day how many tomato plants we have. And we have almost 70 70 tomato plants. But I taught myself how to can last year, and I began making, it's sort of a sauce. But what I do is I take all the tomatoes that maybe have, you know, a yicky spot in them, or just that we can't eat. And not just paste tomatoes, all the tomatoes, cherries, big ones, little ones. I take them, I put them all in a roasting pan. I pour olive oil on them, throw in some garlic and some fresh herbs like thyme and basil. I roast it at a low temperature, like 275, all day long. I'll put it in the oven. Oh, I'll cut the tomatoes up first, except for the cherries. I'll put those in whole. Put them in the oven at 275, like maybe 8, 9 in the morning. By 7, 8 o'clock at night, what you're left with is the most ugly brown gloop. You know, most of the liquid cooks out of it, but it's low and slow temperature, and what you're left with is ugly as sin, but it is delicious. It's sort of like sun-dried tomatoes, very concentrated tomato flavor, and then I can it. So we still have a few jars left from last year. I gave a few away, but we use it. It's a bit too thick to use as a base sauce, but you can add it to other sauces. You can add it. We've topped pizza with it. We have just tossed it in with pasta and, you know, some vegan cheese. Vegan cheese, like nutritional yeast, is what we use. And it's delicious. So there's that. So I'll be making a lot of that this year. And then I'm looking at, this year I'm going to sun dry some. I have a not sun dry, I have a dehydrator. So I've been reading more on how to preserve tomatoes, because we probably have double the amount that we did last year. Just about. We grew a few in these pots in front of the deck last year, and we did do the little Napolis, but we only had 2 plants actually, now that I'm thinking about it, last year of the little Napolis, or little Crapolis. This year we have 9, because we like them so much. And then over here, I don't know that we had any over here last year, on this side of the deck. I don't think we did. Over here, this is a cucumber plant, which Rob has turned into a little teepee. And it's got these little, and I don't love cucumbers enough to have more than that. You know, I'm going to find a pickle recipe. I'd like to pickle them. I do like pickles, but cucumbers, like a couple sliced during the summer is great. But those of you that have grown cucumbers know that you get a lot of cucumbers. So we've got these plants on this side of the deck. Oh, we're also trying, these are Brussels sprouts. We have never grown Brussels sprouts, but we are trying those. Apparently in our zone, our garden zone, you're supposed to start those, well, when did we start these? Let's look at the tag. I date everything. Brussels sprouts, June 6th we planted those, which is apparently the right time. It's a long season crop. So we're gonna try those. They get very bushy, I know. And yeah, we're gonna try it, see what happens. Over here, these we planted late. These are by Baker Creek. They're called cucamelons. And they are crossed between a cucumber and a melon. I think they're technically a cucumber, but they're about the size of like a grape tomato, apparently. They look adorable. And then over here, this is a new spot for us this year because we are out of control. These are more Brussels sprouts. And over here, these are called sugar magnolia peas. and apparently the peas are going to be purple, which is so cool. And apparently you can eat the plant, like these little tendrils which are getting out of control. You can eat that, so we're excited for that. And then over here, these are more tomato plants. If any of you grow tomato plants, you will know that you can take off the suckers, which is a side growth of the tomato plants, and then you can plant them. So all of these, they're smaller because these were suckers off of our main plants. So let me see if I can find an example of a sucker. Oh, here's one. This is a sucker. They say it's in the armpit of a tomato plant. So you could actually take that off. Usually you need a little bit bigger, but I planted some small ones and they grew. You can take that, you can put it in soil or water. It will root, and then you've just cloned a tomato plant. So I did that a lot. So what we're basically left with is like 2 to 3 of most of our varieties, which is good. You know, we have one variety, a Cherokee Purple, over in the main garden that is dying. We don't know what happened to it. It doesn't look diseased. We've had our share of tomato diseases over the years. Don't know. It's just like the leaves are dying off. We don't know. So I'm glad we have we have 2 more plants of Cherokee Purple, because that's one of my favorites. And it's making me crazy. The ones we only have 1 of, it's making me a bit crazy. But we're going to be, I mean, if you saw those plants, we have so many tomatoes, and this is definitely our biggest harvest. It's been hot here, as I mentioned in my day on the farm video, I think was the last video. It has been hot here, and it hasn't rained in weeks, at least 2 weeks, probably more. And it's been probably in the 90s. I mean, not as hot as some of you out west. But once it gets that hot, the tomatoes, the flowers start dying off and they stop producing tomatoes. They do like the heat, but the growth when it's that hot kind of stalls. This is another sucker plant, which is why it's so small. Over here, this is our Berkeley pink tie-dye. We've got another one turning here, which makes me so happy. It is so tasty. That one and a variety called Malachite Box, which is a green variety, believe it or not. That one, our blind taste test last year. And yes, we do blind taste tests because we are that into tomatoes. But yeah, I started a page called Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. But why did I bring that up? I don't remember. I had started saying something and was going to reference something I put on there, but the garden tour, I really should do there and not here. I really just wanted to wish you all a good morning and show you what my mornings generally look like. I'm on a news fast. We used to watch the news every single morning together, my husband and I, before he had to start working, and I got my day started with my AOG heart work. That's what I refer to my work in Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. I call it my heart work because it's good for my heart. So we used to watch the news. I get up early, 5, 6 a.m. I just have, just in old age, I guess, I just started getting up early. I like waking up early. I do go to bed early too. I'm usually in bed by 9, 10 p.m. But we used to watch the news together each morning when Rob woke up. And after the last school shooting, I stopped. I couldn't take it anymore. And I know, obviously I know bits and pieces of what's going on in the world. And I'm glad I stopped watching the news because it wasn't healthy for my mindset. I found myself getting angry and sad. I don't get angry a lot. I get really deeply sad. And, while I think knowing some things is important, I don't feel like I need to expose myself to that when I'm trying to live my best life and live with joy, intention, and gratitude. I'm finding that there's very little on the news that helps foster that mindset in me. And it's not, if that's the way I start my day, I'm starting kind of on a negative. So I've stopped watching the news for the past, 2 months or so. I'm going to continue on that, maybe indefinitely, I don't know. So I've been watching YouTube garden videos and I'm finding, I used to laugh at my kids for watching YouTubers. It sounded ridiculous to me, but now I am finding myself doing that. And I'm watching people doing exactly what I'm doing garden tours and showing look at this tomato plant. This one's called Big Rainbow. Nothing ripe yet, but look how many down here, under here. I mean, like I said, if we don't get any more on these plants, oh, it's getting fuzzy here. How did I do that? There we go. It's okay because we will have more. Isn't this one cool? This one's called Zapotec. Look how cool that is. So awesome. This over here is I guess it's an herb. It's called borage. I've never grown it before, but apparently it is really good, not only as a pollinator for the bees, but also to keep away a pest called tomato hornworm, which will decimate your tomato plants within 48 hours if you don't catch them. But isn't this beautiful? I bought blue borage, but we're getting some pink blooms on it too. So that's nice. And over here we have, this is where we always plant our green beans and peas. And these are blue lake bush beans we've planted. We're getting some now. And I accidentally, inadvertently ripped out a plant the other day when I was picking. So I've planted a new variety in here because you can succession plant things throughout the season, and beans are one of those things. They will mature before the end of the season. So I planted, where is it? Oh, here. It's a dragon tongue variety. These are the smaller ones. And they're like purple and white stripe, which will be super cool. Oh, let me show you this guy. This one's an opalka variety. It's a long Italian paste tomato, and it is in quarantine because you can see it is diseased. It has something called Septoria leaf spot. And sometimes, like, you can, I grow organically, so I had sprayed a copper fungicide on it, and it was really kind of just too far gone, but it will infect the other plants, which is why we moved it about a month or so ago. The fruits will still be good, that we're getting a ripe one. Thankfully, we have another plant, and it did not infect our other plants, so we are very, very grateful for that. So that's it, gang. Didn't intend on doing a garden tour. I really just wanted to do a morning post, show you how I do my mornings, and I'm going to embark on this. I don't want to, I'm trying not to use the verbiage of busy, because busy is not a positive way to look at things. At least I don't think so. Busy is stressful and makes me anxious because it makes me, replay all maybe you have 3 things to do during the day. This is why I'm a big believer in writing things down on paper. I use paper planners over apps. I believe that the act of writing things down is healing in a lot of ways. First of all, it helps me with my memory. I don't have a very good memory. I have some neurological issues. So it helps me to put it down on paper. It also helps me to see it written down on paper. It helps jog my memory. So the act of writing it down is just an extra insurance policy to make sure I remember. It also helps me, I'm a firm believer that if we try to just remember these 3 things in our mind, those 3 things multiply in our head. We constantly put them on replay. So those 3 things will turn into 6 things, 9 things, 12 things, 15, 18, and so on, because it keeps it adds it on. It makes it seem like those 3 things, there's more than those 3 things is what I'm trying to say. But when you write it down on paper, you see those 3 things, and then you can, approach the day like that with a bit less anxiety. So I don't like to say I've got a busy day. I'm saying I have a full day, and I'm going to go get in the shower. I'm running the Friday Gratitude Circle in AOG, which runs from noon to 12:15. I've got to clean up around here. My parents are coming to spend the night, so I've got to get my son's bedroom ready for them. What else? I'm having lunch with a friend who I haven't seen in several years that I'm looking forward to, my friend Diane. What else? I need to pick up something from the grocery store. Riley is coming in. My daughter's coming in. She's taking a train in because we are seeing my niece McKenna has a show tonight. She's in the musical Footloose with her theater group locally, which is why my parents are coming. So it's a full day, and so I like to come out here and do these things in the morning just to start the day with nature and beauty and just relax a bit with my morning cup of coffee. So I'm glad you could join me. If you have a full day today, consider writing things down on paper. Consider getting outside for a few minutes if you can, and just do some intentional breathing. Release your jaw, release your shoulders, release your mind. Maybe listen to a beautiful piece of music, some songs that you love. There's great things we can do to brighten up our day, and I hope your day is bright. Happy Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend if I don't see you. And I can't do this with coffee and a phone in my other hand. Peace and love, and get your gratitude on. Oh, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. It really helps me out. I don't charge anything for the group. I am a volunteer. But for getting YouTube subscribers, I can begin to eventually, I'm far off, but once you reach 1,000 subscribers, you can begin to generate an income, and that would really help to offset the costs that I incur from running the group and my broadcast and all that. So if you aren't a subscriber, I would appreciate a subscription. Peace and love. Get your gratitude on.